Please welcome Emily Swallow.
Hi, guys. Yay.
It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you, too. Oh, it's warmer up here. It's freezing where our table is.
Is it warm up in here compared to the convention center downstairs on the floor?
Yes. Yes. Thanks for coming out to a non-Walking Dead panel. I feel like I'm in, not enemy territory, because everyone's very nice, but it feels sort of strange to be here. How are you? What's your name?
Julian Cannon from The Nocturnal. I'm a journalist
Julian.
for the outlet.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Let's get right to it. First, let's talk about Supernatural. You joined the show back on season 11.
Yes.
What was your audition process for joining the cast?
Well, okay, I will preface this by saying that I audition for hundreds of things a year, and I do not get most of them. And Supernatural was, at first, an audition just like any other. I mean, I knew it was for the show Supernatural, but I go into pretty much any audition the same. Like, even if it's something that I'm excited about, I try to treat it the same as I would treat anything else, and I do my prep the same. I had scenes that were... they had fake names. I had a feeling that the characters were not who they said they were because they seemed an awful lot like Sam and Dean, but they were called like Rick and Mickey or something like that. And the character was not named Amara. I don't remember what she was called. I should go back and look. I could maybe find it in my email. Let me see. I keep all my auditions, and I have a good internet signal.
Will any of those auditions ever come to light on video?
That I have no idea, because they are not in my possession anymore, or at least this one's not. I don't know. That would be interesting. I do remember, though, I had just sprained my knee surfing, and so I was very concerned because I had a little bit of a limp, and I knew that this character was supposed to be sexy and confident, and I was worried that I was going to be, like, limping around, and so I was concerned about that. Oh, my gosh, there's a Mandalorian back there. Hey, Mando!
Hey, come right here if you could arrive. I guess he left with... Oh, there you
Mando,
are.
what are you doing?
Come right over here.
Why are you out there?
I need you to fix something.
I'm sorry?
I need you to fix me.
Yeah, you need a lot of help. Why are you out there wandering around?
I'm looking for you.
Well, I'm right here.
I don't know. You have your helmet off.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Touche.
You know what you say about that?
Yeah, I already kicked you out, so this is very awkward.
I know. Keep it secret.
Okay, good, thanks.
You know, Mando, this is quite setting because we got a print here for you, too. Come right to the stage and get it.
Hey, look at that! Yay!
Here you go. This is the way, and you are welcome.
This is the way. What's your name when you're not Mando?
I can't tell you that.
Okay. Ryan? If you had a name, it might be Ryan.
Yes.
We won't tell. Nice to meet you, Ryan.
Now, we will get to The Mandalorian in a bit, but we'll go back to Supernatural right now. How did you react to seeing your costume for your character?
Well, at first, it seemed... I was excited by the idea that I wouldn't have to have a fitting for every episode because they told me I was going to wear the same thing every time. And that was nice, and it was very comfortable. However, I remember being surprised when I actually had to shoot in it because, I put it on, and I was just standing there and for the fitting. And then I quickly realized once I had to, move around in it that it posed some difficulties because it wasn't really an action-oriented dress.
Right.
And so Moira, who was my wardrobe person, she helped me by making sure that nothing fell out. So, they make tape for the men in the audience who don't know this. Most of the women probably know that you can buy like Top Stick and things to tape so that helped. It also was not great for the climate of Canada in the winter, and we shot a lot outside. Amara liked to be in the outdoors. Hey. And so I spent a lot of time finding many uses for those hand warmers and for, heating pads that you usually put on if you have back pain, stuff like that. And I had them like I would wear long underwear underneath. That was nice. And so I'd put them in there. I'd put them like in my bra. And I remember in the episode when I had a run-in with Castiel, when I wrote on his chest, I'm coming, which was really an unfortunate thing for him. I had a couple of those hand warmers, and I don't remember the gesture I was making. I like had to just put my arm out or something. But I did that, and then I heard this like plip plop on the ground, and my first thought was, did I just poop? And I don't know why that was my first thought, because that's not a common occurrence. I don't poop myself, but that is what happened. But no, it was that the hand warmers had fallen out of my wardrobe onto the ground. So yeah, it was very comfortable, that dress. And I wore flats, which was also great. I appreciated that Amara, she needed to get the job done. She wasn't going to wear high heels like Rowena. Poor Ruth. I mean, that woman looked fabulous and wore high heels all the time and managed to get a lot of work done. But I was glad that I didn't have to do that. What was the original question?
No, it's more about the costume, but...
Oh, yeah. But then it was very exciting when I came back in season 15, spoiler alert, if you haven't gotten to season 15, sorry, when I got to change clothes. That was a big character development, that Amara went shopping.
That's good to my segue for my next question. How has been the character development for you when it came to crafting these scenes, bringing out the dialogue, and working with the cast?
Oh my gosh, it was a dream. And you never know when you go into a show that's been running for...
Awesome tone.
I beg your pardon? You never know when you're going into a long-running show, it's sort of like being a transfer student at a new school, and everyone else, knows all the teachers, has been going to all the classes, and everything is new for you. And even if it's a welcoming environment, it might still be, they might have a way of doing things, and you might just sort of need to learn the way that everyone else does it and sort of fall into place. But the wonderful thing about Supernatural, and I think this is one of the reasons that the show was so successful for 15 years, is that they were so welcoming to every single new cast member. And so I went in, I didn't show up till season 11, but when I came in, they were so eager for my ideas for this character, for what I had to bring to the table. They wanted to know how I, wanted to work, and it was just, it all felt fresh, it all felt new, and that was such a beautiful thing to be welcomed into, and such a pleasant surprise. People always come to my table, and Lindsay has witnessed this, that they'll ask me, what's it like to work with Jensen and Jared, and and I say, well, it was really a test of my courage to stare at such ugly people all day. And they're tremendously boring, and they don't have any sense of humor, but I endured, and I lived to tell the tale, so here I am. I survived.
Now we're going to get to the Mandalorian, and I'm excited. Yes, I'm excited too. Let's get to the Mandalorian. You're playing as the armorer, and you had a lot of great scenes when you first showed up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So here's another question about that costume. Was it harder to put on this one compared to your character on Supernatural?
You know, I actually spent far less time getting ready every day for the armor than Amara, because Amara required about an hour and a half of hair and makeup, and the armor, I just put on a helmet. And we had it down to a science putting on that armor, because there are different pieces that, like, there's a lot of Velcro involved with my armor. And so we would attach all the pieces that could be attached and then just put it all on in one piece. And I'm just sorry. I'm realizing like how much useless information I know now about like different armor and how it works. And I guess anyone who does cosplay also knows this. But I was very fortunate because my armor, I had a separate pants and top, and so it was really easy to get into and out of. Start to finish, 10 minutes, if that. All of it. People like, oh man, Mando's armor is a hassle, and it's heavy. People I know, like a character like Bo-Katan, it's a whole flight suit, like a one-piece jumpsuit. So like anytime someone like that has to use the restroom, it's a whole ordeal. Not for me. It's pretty easy, which I'm grateful for. So yeah, mine, you know, I mean, since I'm the one that makes all the armor, I guess it makes sense that mine is one of the easier, more comfortable things to wear, and not terribly heavy. It gets hot for sure, and I mean, all that depends on like how hot the set is that day. It's always hot in the helmet because there's a mic pack in there because they are recording the dialogue as we shoot.
Wow.
But then we also do, you know, people always ask, are they recording it then or do they record it later? And they do both, because the fantastic and frustrating thing about wearing a helmet is that they can do infinite rewrites for your character because they don't have to match anything to your mouth moving. So they do that. They rewrite as much as they want, and then you re-record it later. So yeah, it's not, I feel pretty lucky because I don't have to wear like prosthetics or anything. And it looks awesome. So any discomfort I feel in the armor, it is well worth it because she looks like a badass.
Yes, she does. Now, season 3 is coming soon. I'm sure everyone's excited for that. Are you all excited for season 3 of The Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Without giving too much away, what can you say about the 3rd season?
Is there a 3rd season?
Yes, there is.
Cool.
The 3rd season is coming soon. Without giving anything away, what can you say?
I think it's cool that there's a 3rd season. That's about all I can say.
Now, everyone could go to the mic right over there. Got questions? The mic is right over there. To the left side.
Come on, you guys must have some questions about anything.
Anything Mandalorian or Supernatural related? Oh, he has a question. Go right ahead.
My daughter wanted me to ask you this question. She wanted to ask, how crazy was it to work with on the set with two crazy guys who like a lot of practical jokes? I know on those two, brain fart for a minute, can't remember what I was going to say. Happens when you get old. Of Supernatural.
Yeah.
With the two brothers. I mean, they are practical jokers, because I know you said, hey, they're kind of boring, and they're not. So just what happened when you said that your two warmers fell out? Did they see that?
No, they were not there.
Okay.
That was just Misha and me that day. You know, they never pranked me, actually. Yeah.
Really?
I think they were scared of me. I'm very intimidating.
Well, yeah, you had a lot of power.
Yeah.
I mean, you could turn them into whatever.
That's right. Yeah,
I mean-
I could smite them or suck their souls. Well,
Be something.
Jared never gets tired of fart jokes. I mean, I never get tired of fart jokes. Who am I kidding? They're just ridiculous. It's so frustrating because they work such long hours. And they, you know, when we were doing the show, they would be working most days of the week and doing conventions on the weekends and traveling nonstop. And yet they never seemed tired. They always had energy. They always had a good sense of humor. And they love to just be ridiculous. They are truly such good guys. And I joke about like it being boring, and I joke about them being ugly, because it really is just baffling to me how two people could be as all around great guys as they could be. And it just trickled down to the whole, it was just like a circle effect. That's not a term, but I'm going to use it. There's some better way to describe it. But the whole crew of that show, the whole cast, all the directors, all the producers, everybody was just so hardworking and so generous. And it was truly just one of the best work environments I've ever been in. And I'm so grateful for that. And every time I do a convention, I mean, most of the time I do conventions, I will meet somebody new from Supernatural, because there's 15 seasons and there's a lot of people on that show that I never worked with on the show. And I always know I'm going to like the person, because I just feel like the show attracts good people. So it was, I mean, I just have nothing bad to say about it. And they're big, dumb goobers. They're big, and I mean that in like the best possible way. Like, so much fun. And they work so hard. So.
Awesome question.
All right, my question is about I know it was special effects, but the smoke effects for the demons and the angels. How did they do that? Or was that all done off?
Which one specifically? Or just
in general? I mean.
Okay. Well, I will tell you. Okay, here's my journey with special effects on Supernatural. This was my first time ever having any sort of superpowers. And I will tell you that when I first shot an episode where I was supposed to have superpowers, I felt like an idiot. Because when you're shooting
you're doing stuff and you're not.
You don't know what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, okay, so just stand there and like hold your hand out, and then those people are going to fall over and die. And it looks so dumb when you're shooting it. And you don't feel powerful because.
If there wasn't chairs right here, I probably would have done it myself.
That would be amazing. I'll pretend like you did it. In particular, I don't know if you remember, but Amara would suck people's souls. Mm-hmm. And so that was the worst thing in the world to shoot, because the final product was, we would be like this far apart, and I would like take somebody's face, and my mouth would be open, and his mouth would be open, and then like smoke would go back and forth. When we were shooting it, there was no smoke. So it was just two people standing there with their mouths open. And it was very awkward. And for a while, people would ask me to do that in photo ops.
Whoa.
And after like 2 or 3 of them, I just had to say, no, I can't do that. I'm sorry. Because without the special effects, it was horrible. I don't know exactly how they did it. I mean, that's the magic. They did really cool computer CGI stuff. Do you like my hands here? But that was such a relief after I saw the first few episodes, and I saw how cool it looked when I would smite people or when I would suck people's souls. And then once I saw a few episodes of that, and then I had to go back to shooting those things, I was much more confident in it. Oh, follow-up question,
You got a follow-up?
Off the mic. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
What?
How many husbands can say that? It's a beautiful marriage. Yes. No, actually, I just have abs of steel. Yeah, they have collapsible blades. He was asking how the stabbings happened. As I recall, I mean, it's been a few years now. But yeah, there were collapsible blades. They have all sorts of tricks. That's one of the really cool things about being an actor, though, and being a part of this process overall, being a part of, and I've gotten to, I mean, especially on a show like Supernatural or a show like The Mandalorian that requires these special effects, is you really, when you're shooting it, there's just a certain amount of faith that you're having that it's going to look spectacular, because if they don't do that right, you're going to look like an idiot. And you just trust that you're not, and then you don't. And it's really cool to see the artistry that goes into and how, especially with Star Wars, to see, over 40 years ago what it looked like and what it looks like now, to see how that's grown. It's pretty cool.
I'll tell you what, your question deserves a print. Here you go.
Hey!
You're welcome. Before we get to
What did you get? What is that? Oh, I was looking at it the wrong way.
Before we get to your question, what's been your favorite episode you've been part of on Supernatural?
Oh, favorite one? Ooh, that's a hard one. I mean, she said getting to kiss Jensen Ackles. No, that was not my favorite. I think still my favorite was when the first time I finally got to confront Chuck, because the whole season had been building up to that. And it was just so satisfying. And because I personally had been waiting to finally get to work with Rob. And it was just so epic. I mean, when we finally got to confront each other, and I had been like, I'd fought witches and demons and angels and been impaled by Lucifer, and it was pretty satisfying. So I think that one takes the cake.
Awesome. You're ready.
Thank
Go right
you.
ahead.
Was Grogu cool to work with, or was he a total diva?
Grogu is such a diva, you guys.
Thank you. This is the way.
Oh my gosh, there were so many hours we spent just sitting on set while he was locked in his trailer because he thought the lighting wasn't right and it made him look old.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That is
Horrible.
something.
Yep. You heard it here first.
And I thought J-Lo was a diva. Go right ahead.
I apologize because I came in a little bit late, so if you touched on either of these, my bad. What was the casting process like for Mandalorian, since it's a role where your face is covered the whole time? Mm-hmm. And do you have a favorite director to work with, and why?
So when I auditioned for The Mandalorian, first of all, I was not entirely sure that it was, I think it was called like Star Wars live action TV project. It was very vague. It was very low key. It was, someone had asked a question probably before you came in about my Supernatural audition, and I said I audition for hundreds of things a year, and most of them I don't get. So even for something where I think it might be something bigger, I'm like, all right, well, this is just another audition, which does not mean that I take it for granted at all, but it means, I do the work like I would anything else. And for that one, I did know that the character was masked, but for the audition, I didn't put a paper bag over my head or anything. I was asked to just come in like I would any other audition, so I didn't ignore my face, but I did pay attention to the rest of my body more than I normally would. And it was just me in the room with the casting director. There was nobody else from the production there. I had no reason to think that it was a big deal at all, which was fantastic. And I knew that it said that she was the leader of a group of people who were in hiding, that she was very Zen-like. So that told me a lot, and that's one of the reasons that I made her very, very still and very calm, very patient. And the casting director told me to do a take. We did it a few times, and he told me to do a take with a British dialect because they were seeing a lot of British actors. So that's how that happened. And that was it. That was the only audition that I had. And then they offered it to me, and I think that they were still not quite sure how many episodes she was going to be in or quite what the character was. So it was all very vague, which also, I'm so glad that none of it felt like a big deal at all until I got there and I realized I was in Star Wars. And it was so crazy. And like the whole time I was there, I was still, because it's all so secretive. So like I didn't even know who I was working with until I got to set. I didn't know who else was on the show unless I was working with them. Or like I remember the day I got to set and I was walking to my dressing room and I saw Giancarlo's name on one of the dressing room doors and I freaked out because I'm such a huge fan of his. But I never saw him on set. I didn't get to meet him until we did a convention together a few months ago. And then there were some actors I didn't know they were in it until I saw the show because they're just so top secret and you sign all these NDAs. So it's one of the most bizarre experiences in that sense that I've ever been a part of, and so much fun that way. And as far as directors go, do you mean on The Mandalorian or just
Any
in
director
general?
you've worked with.
Oh man, that's tough. Bryce Dallas Howard definitely is at the top of my list. She was fantastic. Taika Waititi, also on The Mandalorian. He was one of the ones I was most looking forward to working with because I just am such a fan of his work. And he was a lot of fun. Chris Chulak I've worked with on SEAL Team, and I love working with him so much. I've worked with a lot of really great directors. Jensen was a wonderful director on Supernatural. I've been very fortunate to work with some good directors. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for answering. Appreciate
Thanks for the question.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so my question is, there's a bunch of different personas for each like character in Supernatural. Mm-hmm. So like Misha as Castiel, but you also know Misha as Lucifer. So
Yeah.
what was it like working with him as Lucifer? Because it's completely different from his Castiel persona.
Yes.
And it's very fascinating. I think he did a really great job.
I do too. It was also a lot of fun because I think Misha had so much fun breaking out of Castiel and getting to do Mark Pellegrino for a while. It was great fun. It was so much fun too as an actor to watch another actor watching an actor, and doing his take on that actor's version of this character. It was great, and I admire both Misha and Mark so much. So getting to, anytime you get like an inside look into that, it's so satisfying. So it was great to watch him craft that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering.
And you get a prince.
Yay!
All yours. You're welcome.
Hello. I'm going to talk Castlevania.
Oh,
and your
okay.
voice work.
Who's seen Castlevania? Anyone?
I do. Love the show and the games.
Right on.
I absolutely love voice acting, and especially talking to voice talent. You can tell just from your personality that you can cross all boards of creativity when it comes to acting. Do you find the process between live action and voice acting any different, or do you approach it a different way when you're doing live action versus voice?
My preparation is the same because I'm always looking at the whole person. You know, I'm thinking about the thoughts of the character, and whether it's even if I know I'm just capturing the voice of the character, I can't think about the voice without thinking of their whole being. So, and as you have probably observed, I am somebody who gestures a lot, and so even if we're just recording the voice, I'm going to be moving. The thing that is different about voice acting, in my experience, what I've done, and especially with Castlevania, is that you're often in a booth all by yourself without the other actors, which is kind of a bummer because I like being with other people. And what was special about Castlevania, is there anyone who has watched Castlevania but who hasn't seen the end?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, this is gonna be a spoiler. Are you okay with a spoiler?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I didn't get to record with anyone. Well, first of all, I knew Graham, who plays Dracula, because we'd worked together before. So that was really helpful because I had such affection for him as a person. So that was pretty lucky because, you know, I was supposed to be in love with him. So I'm in love with Dracula on the show. And so the fact that I knew the actor playing Dracula and that I know he's a lovely human being in real life, that was helpful. And then but I get burned at the stake in the first episode. Awkward. And then I come back in some flashbacks, and then they called me in season 4 and said they wanted me to come back, which was very confusing because I'm dead. But we had this beautiful reunion scene, and we actually got to record that together. We were not in the same room, but I was in New York, and he was, I don't know where he was, I don't remember now, but we were on, they had us on audio feed together so we could hear each other and we could interact, and that was so lovely because we actually got to do it at the same time and play off of each other, and so that was nice. So voice acting is such a treat because you are in such isolation when you do it, and so then the surprise of seeing what it turns into is really rewarding. But for the experience of doing it, I much prefer full body acting, I guess. Is that what we would call it as opposed to voice acting? Because I like the whole experience better. But the process for me of preparing for it is very similar because it's all me, even if you're just lifting my voice from it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that question.
Awesome.
So I have my name's Joshua. I have a supernatural question. I'm sure if anyone's a fan of Supernatural, they know that Jared and Jensen love to prank or do gags or even tease some of the cast and crew. Do you have any particular memory or anything you witnessed of like the funniest moment of that?
No, they never pranked me. Someone asked that earlier. Maybe you weren't in here when they...
No, I wasn't.
No.
Sorry about that.
But Ruth and I tried to prank everybody once. Because, okay, there was this episode where, and it was one of the very few episodes where there were only 2 women in a scene. We passed the Bechdel test. And we were shooting in this, it was like an old grain silo, which is about as warm and lovely as it sounds. It was so cold, and we were dressed entirely inappropriately, of course. All of the crew was in like down coats, and they were wearing hard hats because it was apparently a hazardous area. Ruth and I were not because we were on camera. And she's in her, her evening gown and her high heels, and I'm in my Amara dress. And it was the episode where I had been injured, and Rowena was trying to heal me, and so, she was like passing her hands over my aura to see like where I was injured or something like that. And everyone's very cold, and it's dark, and we were like, hey, let's do something funny to make everybody laugh, to lift the mood. And so we decided that on one of the takes, as she was like passing her hands over me, she was gonna like give me a little boop boop. And so she did this, and nobody responded. So we just like kept going, like we kind of made eye contact, and we just like kept going with the take, and kept going, and then the director yelled cut, and then we were like, you guys, did anyone catch that? And they were like, what? We said, we were trying to be funny. Ruth grabbed my boobs. That was a joke. And we realized they were not used to having only 2 women in a scene. They were trying to be incredibly respectful. They thought we had made a choice. And so they were just going with it. And they didn't want to laugh, which was so sweet. And it's a predominantly male crew. And it was very kind of them to try to be respectful, but that just tells you something about that crew. They were used to a bunch of guys making fart jokes and stuff, and they didn't know what to do when these 2 women tried to kind of prank everybody. So that was our resounding failure of a prank.
It was a good attempt.
Yeah, we tried.
Thank you.
This cosplay over here is awesome. The pirate suit is great.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, out of all the characters that you've played, who would you say is your favorite?
I can't ever answer that question. I don't have a favorite. I've been so lucky to play fantastic characters, and I love them for different reasons. That dog agrees. What's your favorite?
Honestly, I love you in The Mandalorian.
Thank you.
I love Amara too, but I love you in The Mandalorian.
I love them both. I love Amara because, getting to be the villain is tremendous fun, especially getting to be the villain that sort of is vindicated at the end. Although, can we talk about what a chump way that was to go out?
Yeah.
Getting to play the armorer getting to be a part of Star Wars is just like, I'm not even going to say a dream come true, because I never even dreamt I would get to be part of Star Wars. That's just lightning in a bottle. And especially, I cannot possibly convey how fortunate I feel to get to come to these conventions and get to meet all of you and to hear what these stories mean to you, to hear what Supernatural means to you, to hear what Star Wars means to you, and what these characters mean to you. And I'm beside myself. It's so incredible. And I love the whole range of it. And one of the things I've really come to appreciate about the Armorer, for a while, I'll admit, I was like, man, I do kind of wish I could take off my mask. And people always ask me, like, is she ever going to take off her helmet? And, honestly, not that I know of. And I've come to really appreciate that she doesn't. And I kind of hope she never does, because now I have realized what a gift it is to play this character who, I have little girls who come up to me and who love the Armorer and who see how strong she is, and they're inspired by her. And I love that she is this character who people look up to, and it has absolutely nothing to do with what she looks like. Because, believe me, I've been in this business long enough that I am all too aware of what I look like, and whether I'm right for certain parts, whether I'm not right for certain parts, and how people perceive me, and, it's silly. And so it's really great that I get to play this character, and we have no idea what she looks like. I love that. And it makes it really easy when I go to work and I don't have to spend 2 hours in hair and makeup. So that's a nice perk too. So every character has its own, they're all my favorites for different reasons.
Well, I just want to say that you're very beautiful, and
thank you.
People who perceive you as not being right for the role are wrong.
Thank you.
We have time for 2 more questions.
All right. And who is our friend who was barking?
Crete.
Hey, Crete. Oh, we met Crete last weekend.
Yes.
Hi.
Still a brat. Other than the Armorer, if you could pick one character throughout the whole timeline of Star Wars, who would you love to have played?
Oh, man. Oh, I want to be Han Solo. I mean, because he gets away with so much.
He does.
That whole, like, I love you, I know. Who says that? Oh, apparently somebody does. Who would you be?
Probably Luke.
That's a good one, too.
That would work. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the final question goes to the governor of The Walking Dead.
Hi there.
Hi.
Actually, did you watch Lucifer at all?
No, I'm familiar with it, but I haven't really watched it.
There's a scene you might appreciate. Because
Okay.
Rob Benedict, who was Chuck,
I am familiar.
I think you know him, gets the crap beat out of him by Lucifer.
Uh-huh.
So that's a scene I just wanted to make that comment that you might really appreciate. Do you have,
Oh.
I mean, because I got to say, I didn't like the way that you were like bamboozled into like giving yourself
Wasn't
up
it sad?
in Supernatural.
Stupid, pretty face Dean lied. I mean, Amara, I thought it was beautiful that the writers had Amara take a chance and have some hope in humanity. I really appreciated that. And I thought it was kind of heartbreaking that it did not turn out well for her, but I was glad that she took that chance.
Yeah, I was very sad at it's like, Dean, what are you doing? You know,
Yeah.
this is someone, you know, who could have destroyed the world, did change her mind, and now you're doing it wrong, buddy. So,
Well, Dean had a lot of hard decisions.
but thank you so much
Thank
for all
you.
your hard work.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming out.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. I had a pleasure seeing all of you today. I had a pleasure meeting you today as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Maisie Richardson-Sellers, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be a legend and hit that like button, and most importantly, have fun and follow your fandom.